Hello, I'm Joshua Brown from howtobecome.com, a leading interview training company that has helped millions of candidates worldwide to prepare to pass their job interviews. And in this video, I'm going to help you succeed in your Amazon interview. At How to Become, we are Amazon interview specialists, and I will walk you through the 7 most difficult Amazon-style interview questions. Oh, and don't forget to let me know the name of the job role that you are applying for in the comment section below, so I can personally give you extra interview tips and tailored questions to help you to prepare. Let's take a look at question number 1. Tell me about a time you had to make a decision with incomplete data. Now, why is this question being asked? Well, it's being asked to assess your ability to make smart, calculated decisions under uncertainty, testing bias for action and are right a lot. Those Amazon leadership principles are key to your success. Make sure you learn them and make sure you understand how you can easily demonstrate them within your answers. So this question is specifically testing bias for action and are right a lot. Therefore, in your answer, make sure you show how you evaluated limited data, took ownership, that's very important, and achieved measurable results while balancing risk and judgment. And just before I give you a top scoring example response, here is a bonus tip for you that will help you with all of your Amazon leadership principles style questions. So any kind of behavioral interview question, a question where you are required to draw on your past experiences, I recommend you use the STAR method. It's a structure to answer these type of questions, and it stands for this. S is for situation. You start your answer off by describing what was the situation you found yourself in. You then move on to T for task. Describe what was the task that you needed to carry out. A is for action. What action did you take to achieve the task? The first R stands for result. What was the end result following your actions? Make sure it's always a positive end result. And the final R stands for reflection. What did you learn from this experience, and how does it tie back to the job role that you are applying for or Amazon's values? So here is a brilliant top scoring answer to help you come up with your own fantastic response using that STAR structure to the question, tell me about a time you had to make a decision with incomplete data. Here we go. In my previous role, I was managing a key project where we needed to decide whether to launch a new product feature ahead of schedule. Some of the data from user testing was incomplete due to unexpected technical issues, but waiting for the full results would have delayed the launch by several weeks. My task was to evaluate the available information, manage the risks, and make a recommendation to leadership, knowing the decision could significantly impact both timelines and customer experience. I gathered all the data we had, focusing on patterns that were consistent and statistically reliable. I also consulted with our product and customer support teams to understand potential impacts if issues arose after launch. After assessing the risks, I recommended moving forward with a limited rollout to a smaller user group, allowing us to collect real-time data and make adjustments quickly if needed. The feature launched successfully, and early feedback confirmed our assumptions were correct. Because of the staggered approach, we achieved our launch targets, avoided major issues, and accelerated full deployment by 3 weeks. The initiative ended up improving customer engagement by over 15%. This experience taught me that calculated, informed action is often better than waiting for perfect certainty. I know that at Amazon, you value those who take initiative, act decisively, and learn fast from outcomes. And that's exactly how I approach challenges with data, judgment, and ownership. This answer works really well because I used that STAR format to tell a complete, easy to follow story that demonstrates clear decision making under uncertainty. I show bias for action by making a smart, calculated choice without waiting for perfect data, and I strengthen it with measurable results, faster delivery, and improved customer engagement. And I don't know if you noticed, I used 15%. I made it a quantifiable, measurable result. That's a way to really back up your answers with evidence and make you stand out. And the reflection ties it perfectly to Amazon's values by showing initiative, ownership, and a data-driven mindset. That balance of action, risk management, and alignment with Amazon's culture makes this a top scoring response. Amazon style interview question number 2 is a really challenging one. Tell me about a time you disagreed with a decision or had to challenge a superior. Wow, what a tricky question. It's being asked to evaluate your professional courage and ability to speak up respectfully while maintaining teamwork. It's testing, have backbone, disagree, and commit. That is a really important Amazon leadership principle that many people struggle demonstrating. When answering this question, make sure you use evidence and diplomacy, show you challenged constructively, found solutions, and committed fully once a decision was made. Here is a brilliant top scoring answer to help you come up with your own response to that question. Tell me about a time you disagreed with a decision or had to challenge a superior. Here is a fantastic response to help you come up with your own answer. In a previous role, my manager decided to reduce the testing phase on a product rollout just to meet a tight deadline. From my experience, I felt this posed a significant risk to quality and customer satisfaction. I needed to express my concerns respectfully, back them up with data, and try to influence the decision, while still being prepared to fully commit if my manager decided otherwise. I gathered evidence from previous launches showing how issues from reduced testing had caused costly reworks and delays. I presented a concise analysis to my manager, proposing an alternative plan, a shorter but more focused testing cycle that maintained key quality checkpoints. I made sure to frame it around the project's success, not personal disagreement. After reviewing the data, my manager agreed to the revised approach. The launch went ahead on time, and we avoided post-release issues, saving both time and resources. The conversation also strengthened our working relationship because it showed I could challenge decisions professionally and constructively. This experience reinforced that constructive disagreement, when handled respectfully and backed by data, can lead to better outcomes. I know that at Amazon, you value people who have the courage to speak up, challenge assumptions, and then fully commit once a decision is made. And that's exactly how I approach teamwork and leadership. This is a great answer. It shows professional courage, data-driven thinking, and emotional intelligence. 3 qualities Amazon prizes. I used the STAR format to show that I didn't just disagree. I backed my point up with evidence and offered a constructive solution. I also demonstrated maturity by showing respect for my manager's authority and commitment to the final decision. The reflection ties directly to Amazon's value of have backbone, disagree, and commit, proving that I can challenge ideas without creating conflict. That balance of assertiveness and collaboration makes it a top scoring response. Let's move on to question number 3. Tell me about a time when you failed or made a mistake. What did you learn? Wow, again, a really tricky and tough question that many people struggle with. It's being asked to gauge your self-awareness, your accountability, and your ability to learn from setbacks, testing, ownership, and the leadership principle of learn and be curious. Make sure in your answer you admit to the mistake honestly. Own the outcome. That's so important. Make sure you own the outcome, show what you learned, and highlight long-term improvements that resulted from that learning experience. Here's a brilliant top scoring answer to help you. Tell me about a time when you failed or made a mistake. What did you learn? Early in my career, I led a project where we were implementing a new internal tool to automate part of our reporting process. I underestimated how much input was needed from end users before deployment, which caused frustration and some rework after launch. As project lead, I was responsible for ensuring smooth implementation, user adoption, and clear communication between the technical and operational teams. When I realized the oversight, I took full responsibility and immediately arranged feedback sessions with the users to understand their needs and pain points. I worked closely with the developers to incorporate improvements and set up a testing phase that included representatives from each department. I also created a lessons learned document so future projects wouldn't repeat the same mistake. After the updates, adoption increased significantly, and productivity improved by 20%. The project became a model for future tool rollouts in the company. My manager appreciated that I didn't deflect blame, but took ownership and fixed the problem proactively. This experience taught me that true ownership really means being accountable for both success and mistakes. I know at Amazon that you value people who take responsibility, learn fast, and use feedback to improve, and that's how I approach every challenge, with transparency, curiosity, and commitment to getting better. This is a great answer because it shows humility, accountability, and growth. Exactly what Amazon's ownership and learn and be curious principles are about. I don't shy away from the mistake. I own it completely and focus on what I did to fix it. The story shows initiative, collaboration, and measurable improvement, a 20% productivity gain, which makes the answer credible. The reflection ties it all together by showing I take responsibility, I learn quickly, and continuously improve, all traits that Amazon prizes in its leaders. Now, don't go anywhere, as I still have plenty more interview questions and brilliant answers to give you, but when you're ready, and only if you want to, you can click that link in the top right hand corner or in the pinned comment below this video at any point during this training. It will take you through to my website, howtobecome.com, where you can download my top 57 Amazon style interview questions and answers suitable for all job roles, designed to give you the edge in your interview. It covers all of the most difficult questions, all of the most common interview questions, and provides brilliant example responses to help you fully prepare and be the standout candidate. Okay, let's move on to question number 4. Tell me about a time you raised the bar or improved a process. This is a great question, and it's being asked to see if you're proactive about continuous improvement and if you can maintain high standards, and it tests that Amazon leadership principle of insist on the highest of standards. My top tip here is to make sure, again, you use a measurable example. Show initiative and leadership in that example and explain how your change improved quality, efficiency, or results. Here's a fantastic response to help you. Tell me about a time you raised the bar or improved a process. In my previous role, I noticed that our team's client reporting process was inconsistent. Different team members used varying templates and data sources, which sometimes led to errors and delays. I wanted to create a standardized process that improved accuracy and presentation quality while reducing the time it took to deliver reports to clients. I analyzed the existing reports, identified where inconsistencies occurred, and collaborated with stakeholders to design a single automated reporting template. I also set up a quality check process where 2 reviewers validated data before submission. Finally, I created a short training guide so new team members could easily follow the new systems. The new process cut report preparation time by 30% and reduced data errors by 80%. It became the team's permanent standard and was later adopted by other departments. This experience showed me how important it is to challenge good enough and continuously look for ways to improve. I know that at Amazon, you value people who hold themselves and others to high standards, and I bring that mindset to every project I take on, always looking for ways to make things faster, better, and more reliable. This is a great answer. It demonstrates ownership, initiative, and continuous improvement, all core Amazon values. I used the STAR format again to clearly explain how I identified a weakness, took action, and delivered measurable results, a 30% time reduction and 80% fewer errors. Those metrics make the story credible and impactful. The reflection again ties it directly back to Amazon's values and principles, such as insist on the highest of standards principle, showing I'm not satisfied with good enough, and I take pride in driving improvement that benefits both quality and efficiency. That proactive, data-driven mindset makes this a fantastic answer. Let's move on to Amazon style interview question number 5, a really tricky one. Tell me about a time you had to dive deep to solve a problem. It's being asked to test your analytical depth, your attention to detail, and your ability to find root causes, not just surface fixes. Again, this tests another Amazon leadership principle, and this one is dive deep. Make sure in your answer you describe how you analyze data, how you found the real issue, and delivered a simple, lasting solution that improved performance. Here's a fantastic example to help you. Tell me about a time you had to dive deep to solve a problem. In a previous role, I noticed recurring discrepancies in our monthly performance metrics. The reports looked fine on the surface, but the underlying data didn't match our financial results. Leadership wanted answers quickly, as these figures informed key business decisions. My task was to identify the root cause of the inconsistencies and propose a sustainable solution without disrupting regular reporting timelines. I started by mapping the data flow from source to final report, step by step. I compared transaction logs, looked at timestamps, and reviewed how different systems synced overnight. After several deep dives, I discovered that a recent software update had changed how certain data fields were categorized, causing double counting in specific reports. I worked with IT to patch the issue and then simplified the process by introducing a validation script that automatically flagged anomalies before reports were published. The fix eliminated data errors entirely, improving reporting accuracy by 100%. The validation tool also reduced manual checks, saving the team around 10 hours per month. Leadership praised the solution for being both analytical and practical. The experience taught me that real progress often comes from going beyond surface level symptoms and digging into details. I know that at Amazon you value people who dive deep, think critically, and simplify complex problems, and that's exactly how I approach every challenge, by combining curiosity, precision, and continuous improvement. A great answer. It shows analytical thinking, persistence, attention to detail, all of which are essential for Amazon's dive deep leadership principle. I don't just say I investigated a problem. I walk through the exact steps I took to uncover the root cause and fix it permanently. I use measurable results, such as 100% accuracy improvement and time savings, because this shows the business impact it had. The reflection ties perfectly to Amazon's values by showing curiosity, critical thinking, and simplification. That blend of technical depth and problem-solving mindset makes this a brilliant top-scoring answer. Let's now take a look at question number 6. Tell me about a time you had to handle conflicting priorities from different stakeholders. This is a great question. It's being asked to measure your communication, your diplomacy, and decision-making when managing competing interests, testing earn trust, and deliver results. In your answer, show how you listened, how you found common ground, and use data to align stakeholders and deliver a balanced outcome. Here's a fantastic answer to help you. Tell me about a time you had to handle conflicting priorities from different stakeholders. Here we go. In my previous role, I managed a project where 2 senior stakeholders had conflicting priorities. One wanted a faster delivery to meet a customer deadline, while the other insisted on additional features that would extend the timeline. Both goals were valid, but they couldn't be achieved simultaneously. My task was to find a balanced solution that maintained stakeholder confidence, met key business objectives, and avoided project delays. I started by meeting with each stakeholder individually to understand their underlying concerns. I learned that one was focused on client commitments, while the other was focused on long-term scalability. I used that insight to prepare a data-backed proposal outlining 3 delivery options, showing the trade-offs between time, cost, and functionality. I facilitated a joint meeting where both stakeholders could align on priorities, using the proposal to guide the discussion. Together, we agreed to launch a minimum viable version on time, with a clear roadmap for post-release enhancements. The initial release met the client's deadline and received positive feedback. The phased approach allowed us to deliver added features within 2 months, satisfying both stakeholders. The process strengthened trust and established a new framework for resolving future conflicts. This experience reinforced the importance of transparency, active listening, and data-driven communication when managing competing demands. I know that at Amazon, you value people who earn trust, deliver results, and navigate ambiguity. And that's how I approach collaboration, by focusing on clarity, accountability, and shared success. This is a brilliant answer because it demonstrates emotional intelligence. It also demonstrates strategic thinking and data-driven communication, which are key to Amazon's earn trust and deliver results principles. I show how I first listened, I analysed the root of the conflict, and facilitated alignment with facts instead of opinion. By presenting trade-offs and achieving a win-win outcome, I proved that I can manage competing priorities under pressure. The reflection ties it perfectly to Amazon culture, showing that I prioritize transparency, accountability, and long-term trust. That combination of logic, diplomacy, and delivery makes this a fantastic top-scoring answer. Let's now move on to Amazon-style interview question number 7, a really tricky one. Tell me about a time you had to deliver under extreme pressure or tight deadlines. This is being asked to test how you perform under stress and time pressure while maintaining quality and accountability. This tests the Amazon leadership principles of deliver results and bias for action. So make sure in your answer you show calm focus. You make sure you show how you prioritize effectively, how you communicate transparently, and end your answer with a positive measurable outcome, just like we've been doing in these previous responses. Here is a fantastic answer to help you. Tell me about a time you had to deliver under extreme pressure or tight deadlines. In my previous role, I was responsible for preparing a critical operations report that was required for an executive board review. 2 days before the deadline, our data aggregation tool failed, leaving me without the most recent data and limited time to recover. My task was to find an immediate workaround to rebuild the dataset, verify accuracy, and deliver the report on time, all while keeping leadership informed. I prioritized the essential data points that the board needed most and created a manual data pool using SQL scripts to extract key metrics directly from the source system. I delegated smaller validation tasks to team members and communicated updates every few hours to stakeholders to manage expectations. I worked late that evening to cross-check figures and automate part of the process to prevent a similar issue in the future. The report was delivered on time, fully accurate, and used successfully in the review. Leadership appreciated my quick response and transparency throughout. The backup process I created later became a standard procedure across the department. This experience taught me that pressure is best managed through calm focus, smart prioritization, and proactive communication. I know that at Amazon you value people who deliver results, who take action, and act decisively under tight timelines. And I bring that same disciplined, action-oriented mindset to my work. This is a great answer because it highlights calm decision-making, ownership, and prioritization under pressure, exactly what Amazon looks for in its deliver results and bias for action principles. I clearly explained the situation, what was at stake, and the concrete steps that I took to solve it. By including measurable results and a long-term improvement, the new backup process, I show both short-term impact and lasting value. The reflection ties it neatly to Amazon's culture, showing that I stayed composed, I took initiative, and I can deliver high-quality outcomes even when time is limited. That balance of control, clarity, and ownership makes it a top-tier answer. So those are just some of the key questions and the most difficult questions that you should be preparing for, just some of them. But if you want the full list of the top 57 Amazon-style interview questions, plus brilliant example answers to help you pass at your first attempt, click the link in the top right-hand corner of this video or on the pinned comment below for 2 reasons. Firstly, this will take you through to my website, howtobecome.com. We will get all of the answers we covered today, plus a total of 57 expertly crafted responses to the most commonly asked Amazon-style interview questions. Secondly, and as a bonus, I've also included 3 smart questions that you should ask at the end of your interview on that page to make a lasting impression. It's a powerful resource designed to put you ahead of the competition, so make sure you check it out. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. please subscribe if you haven't already. I'm on a mission to help as many people as possible pass their job interviews, and I can only do that if you are subscribed. Also, hit that like button if you found this useful. It really helps motivate me to create more videos like this for you. If you have any questions about this role or any other job interview, do drop them in the comments below. I reply to all comments with tips and advice. And finally, don't forget to connect with me on LinkedIn. The link is in the description. I'd love to connect with like-minded professionals such as yourself. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you all the best in your Amazon interview. Have a brilliant day.